Pee-wee as himself talk nerdy to me with your host Pablo Gunner. It's a two-part documentary, which threw me off because it's long, right? I didn't expect that, especially from a documentary. I have always loved Pee Wee Herman. I've loved Pee Wee Herman as a kid. I've loved Pee Wee Herman throughout my entire life. They used to call me Pee Wee in high school because I used to do my hair just like that. I just love like his quirkiness and the show. I watch the show. I watch the movies. I absolutely love the movies. I've rewatched the movies as an adult, and they're just as funny, if not funnier, because there are adult jokes in there that you just don't pick up on as a kid. This is about Paul Rubens, but so much of Pee Wee is Paul Rubens that it's Pee Wee as himself. The first part is very much just about the character, about Pee Wee Herman. It's about Paul Rubens, about his life growing up and how he is. And then I feel like the second part feels more like almost like the downfall of Paul Rubens, not Pee Wee Herman, because he was so separate. He had separated them as two completely different people where he didn't even do appearances as Paul Rubens. He just did appearances as Pee Wee Herman for the longest time. And it's crazy because there's so much that I had actually forgotten until I watched this. I completely forgot that he got in trouble for touching himself in a porn theater. And mind you, that was never proven. Like, if you're going to see porn, what are you going for? Like, you're going to rub one out, right? Otherwise, what's the point? I don't understand what the big deal was. But apparently, that's not something you can do. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. But regardless, like, that tarnished the brand, the Pee Wee brand, of course, back then, and hurt his career. But for me as an adult, I'm just like, I don't care. And then something happened later, like years later, where he was accused of having child pornography and they raided his house. And the thing is he was gay, so he did have like this collection of art, but there was no child pornography there, and so he just settled just to make it go away, which was, to me, I think was stupid. I think was stupid because it's like, why would you, if you're not guilty, don't even make a half measure. Like, fight it. Fight every. In fact, both times he settled, and I was like, if you're not guilty, then just fight it wholeheartedly, because if they don't have the proof that they need, and that was clearly shown in this documentary, like that both things, he was not guilty of these things because that's what it ended on. And it ended on that because Paul Rubens had cancer, and while he was doing this documentary, he stopped doing the documentary after a while. He called the guy and he was like, you know what, I don't think I want to do this anymore because I'm not in control of the narrative. And this was very much after the part that was done about the bringing back up those things that happened to him that made him look bad. And that was the thing, is like, even the fans, like, they were with him. They supported him through it. And even me, like, I was right there. I don't know. I don't remember how my parents felt about it, being that I was such a fan. But clearly it wasn't that horrible because people called me Pee Wee in high school, and I still loved Pee Wee Herman in high school, right? But other people remember that. They're like, oh yeah, no, he was a creep and he was a weirdo, and he was a pedo and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, no, he wasn't. None of that was proven. And in fact, quite the opposite, where he just settled because he wanted to make it go away. So he stopped doing it, and he had like a final message in it too, where he was just like, I just don't want to be seen as, a pervert and a pedo and all these things because of this. And it really affected him really badly. And you can go like, the guy was going through cancer too, and it's really just so sad and so kind of depressing. But in this, I related to Paul Rubens so much. And I am Pablo. So we are both Pauls. And I just understood him and his journey, and so much of his journey just related to my journey in life. And, just being in plays and being in acting and drama, and being a weird kid, and everything like that. And just same thing he says, like with the show, like he was a controlling person. I'm a controlling person. There's a reason that I'm running this show by myself, and it is because I am a controlling person, and I prefer it this way. And I think it's going so much better this way, and I don't care what anybody else says or thinks, and I know I'm getting help, but I am running the show, and I love it this way. I'd rather have it this way than have it any other way. But the point is that's something I related to with him. I relate so much with him in this, and I just understood and I just got it. And the thing is it did seem like in the documentary, in the end, he was happy. And this is something that he does too, is he just throws himself in his work. Because I just loved his journey. I loved his story. All in all, I loved it. I love Paul Rubens. I love Pee Wee Herman even more so. I want to watch the shows over again. I want to watch the movies over again. Like, there's so much of this that made me cry. And I just relate to it so much. And I don't think I really came to the full grasp of his death until I saw this. But I'm glad, like, he's at peace. I loved it because of all those things. It's a must see, must stream. Talk nerdy to me. Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me what you think of Pee Wee Herman and Paul Rubens. Don't forget to give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Check out our merch at TNT in the store, where you can check out our merch on sale with free shipping. 5% of any profit that we make goes to a charity of the month, which currently is Hispanic Heritage Month, since Hispanics are under attack by the government. So help us, help them by buying some of the sweet merch, or donate directly to them on any of the social medias. Thank you for watching, my fellow nerds. Talk nerdy to me.